I'm going to finish with this. How many of you would be very upset if your grandchildren went to Mass, if I showed you in the future that your grandkids are going to Mass on Christmas night? Would you be upset if I showed you the future and you've got little Jessica? Oh, would you be upset? Would that make you upset? The reason that I do these Akiva trips, and I want to tell you, for a trip like this, we have to raise over $120,000 to make this trip happen. It's very expensive. The reason I do this trip is because I love Judaism. We offer something critical to the world, and if we disappear, the world will be much poorer. There was a study done, and the study was so explosive that I made it a point to meet both of the people who commissioned the study. Their names were Richard Horowitz and Hanan Gordon. And the study, you can look it up online, is called the Gordon-Horowitz study. And what it does is it takes 100 Jewish people and it traces them down 4 generations to see who's going to be Jewish by generation number 4. Who is still Jewish if the great-grandparents were Jewish? How is it being passed down? Will our children be Christians or Muslims or atheists or disconnected entirely? And they took 100 Reform, 100 conservative, and 100 observant Orthodox Jews, and they traced it down 4 generations. And if you do the math, you should end up with generation number 1, 100. Generation number 2, assuming 2 kids per, 200. Generation number 3, anyone? 400. And generation number 4, 800. Unfortunately, when we look at the numbers, we do not end up with 800 Jews by generation number 4. And you know this very well, as do I, because from my father's side, they're Reform and disconnected and intermarried. In the Reform movement, out of potential 800, how many were left by generation number 4?
Less than 100.
You're saying 80? That's less than 100? If what Sam says is correct, 80, that means that in a mere 4 generations, we lose 9 out of 10 Jews. If Sam is correct, we should stop everything we're doing if we love our Judaism and become warriors and address Jewish day schools that are in shambles and that are a farce and a fraud, that we pay all this tuition to, and we come away not even reading and understand Hebrew, even though it's called Hebrew school, and you gave up your Sundays, right? You gave up your freaking Sundays, and you don't even read Hebrew from Hebrew school, and you made your macaroni Seder plates and your stupid Hanukkah menorahs, and that's what they got paid for? I'm sorry. I'm a little heated now. If Sam is correct, that 80 are left out of 800 in just 4 generations, we are in a lot of trouble.
So what's the actual number?
The actual number is...
Wait, didn't you say 80?
That's the actual number. 13 were left out of 800. In the conservative movement, how many were left out of potential 800? It's more religious. You got your USY there. I used to have USY students on my board in UCLA. Are you going to guess or a question? Yes.
28.
25 out of 800 by generation number 4. And in the Orthodox movement, out of 100 great-grandparents, how many great-grandchildren were there?
10,000.
Over 2,555. Out of 100 great-grandparents. They have more kids, but they have more kids. One second, shh, 1 second. They have more, but listen, this is not saying, hey, be Orthodox. No, this is saying, you know, after 9/11, the U.S. government used codes like orange, yellow. You know about those codes? Orange, yellow, red. When it's very dangerous, there were codes. I forgot what they're called. The code, right? We should have a code red at this point. This is code red. This is we are disappearing from the map, and we don't care. You care, but most people don't care. Most people, they will go about their lives. They will go oblivious, and I'm not blaming them. They didn't know. They never knew, because somewhere in their past, parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, somebody chucked it. And then you grew up not understanding natural revelation, not knowing the beauty of Torah and our history and how it's the very foundation of the morality of Judeo-Christianity. It's not Judeo-Christianity, it's Judaism that Christians borrowed 1,300 years later. It's Judaism. But we don't know it. So when I give this to you, and I want to tell you, I used to never give this theory of everything class. I've done about 15 Akiva trips. I only started at 4 trips ago. I should have done it by each one of them. I didn't do it because I thought, oh, there's so much information. And there is, and I didn't cover a drop in the bucket. But at least you can feel comfortable that even if you don't have all the answers, there are people who have many of the answers. I don't have all the answers either. Let me just tell you that. There are things, that's why I'm still doing research. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, I'm evolving. And I hope you're all evolving as well. But if Judaism is important, and if you want your great-grandkids to not just not be at Mass, but to be in Israel, to cherish the experience of being by the wall, you've got to do something proactive, and it's not just eating challah or eating a bagel or watching Seinfeld. It's got, you know, it's got to be meaningful. I'm going to speak to you, listen up. I'm going to be speaking to you throughout this trip about finding time soon, imminently, in the next year, in the next week, whenever it is, to take a break from the life that you were ordered to live, that you were instructed to live. The life that says you go from high school to college, you get your internships, you get your job, you get your white picket fence and your house and your 4-car garage, and you get your Toyota, you get your Avalon, and then you have made it, and then you grow old and die. And make sure to have a few traditions to keep the Judaism going, keep the light burning. No. My desire, it's the reason I made the trip. I'm very upfront with my agenda. Here's my agenda. You want to know what's the agenda? Why am I leaving my 11 kids? I'll tell you why. Because I hope that some of you will choose to come to me or come to the rabbis and say, I want to learn more. Where do I do that? And I will tell you, it's called yeshiva. It's right where I'm standing. This is the yeshiva. This is what we're doing is the yeshiva. This is what this is. It's not, oh, something. This is what it is. This is what it looks like. This is what it feels like. And we have funding for it. I work for the donor. There's a whole generation of people, including secular billionaires, who suddenly realized that the course that they've charted for the Jewish people has not worked. It has not worked. It is leading us towards the edge of a cliff, and when we fall over, we will not recover. So that's why I spend 3.5 hours and a lot of money on Nash, all in order for you to hear this material. And I hope this gave you a little bit of an opening so you could ask more questions, and you speak to Rabbi Pears, and you speak to Rabbi Moshe, and you speak to Rabbi Golub, Rabbi Meir, you speak to me, come, ask. Let's hammer this out. Let's ask those questions. Let's torture this. Let's beat it to a pulp. Really, let's beat it up so that we understand it and that we do something with the material. I thank you so much. I'm going to take your question. I thank you so much for listening. And we're going to thank you. You can clap now. Yep.